Fuyeku and Chef Ronnie Wu. Give it up. Stunning, y'all, though, to think about this, though. Only 4% of mental health professionals in this country are Black. That means, this is why it's stunning, that means that not all that easy for people of color to get help from somebody that looks like them and may relate to their background more, which is devastating, especially in 2020, you know, when everybody was having problems with mental health. My next guest is working on changing all of that with a simple plan. He's training hundreds of barbers on how to build stronger connections with their clients and learn how to be supportive listeners. I love that, supportive listener. From the Confess Project, let's welcome Lorenzo Lewis, everybody. What's up, Lorenzo?
Hey, how you doing, Kelly? Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm just stressing about messing up names, but I'm doing all right. Meet Forlake and meet Ronnie.
What's up, Lorenzo?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, how you all doing? Good to see you.
Well, Lorenzo, what inspired this idea? It's a really cool idea, man.
Yeah, you know, I grew up going to my aunt's beauty salon, probably starting about the age of 5. And, you know, barbershops and salons in the Black community is a very, very powerful place in regards of sharing, you know, great things. And so, you know, it's a place where we don't have to necessarily feel tolerated, but seen, heard, and celebrated. And so I knew that when wanting to work with Black men that in most cases, they're unlikely to talk to a professional and open up about their feelings, but they'll talk to their barber. And suicide is the 4th leading cause of death for Black men between the ages of 20 and 44. So we're significantly stepping in and changing so many lives.
Well, that's a devastating statistic that I didn't know until now. I mean, why do you think we get, I'm like that too. Every time I get my hair done, I'm there for hours. So, you know, why do you think we do that? We confess so much in that room while we're getting our hair done.
Maybe because you can't see their faces, so it's almost like you're having an inner dialogue in a way.
Yeah.
And you just get to vent everything out. Similar to lying on a couch in a shrink's office,
yeah.
I assume.
I love that.
I think for like I think two reasons. I mean, because it tends to be a one-on-one experience, and there's a lot of physical touch involved. And I think there's also a level of trust because they have sharp objects around your face, and then they're also changing your appearance. And the second thing is they're probably not friends and family. So, like, they're not going to judge you. It's an open ear.
That's like the therapist.
You know,
it's
they're
outside
not going to tell you
circle.
to change your behavior. It's just an open ear that's going to listen to you and validate you, which is, I think, really important.
I like brag about the fact that I love that I go to therapy. I love that I have someone outside my circle that I can just kind of release and kind of almost like you said, it's almost my inner dialogue going as well. Like in that moment, like you sought that out for yourself too, right?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I did a lot of work on my mental health, you know, due to some of the things that I went through. As much as going to therapy, sometimes twice a week, and being very intentional about developing coping skills and intentional, you know, healthy boundaries. You know, these things that we really, really, you know, need that could help us thrive.
Lorenzo, how does the Confess Project work?
Yeah, so we train barbers on 4 core areas: active listening, having their listening ear, validation, how to positively communicate, and how to reduce stigma. By doing that, that just allows the barbers to be great advocates. In a partnership with Gillette, we've had grant funding that's allowed us to train now 200 barbers in 16 cities. And so roughly we're reaching about 20,000 individuals in communities, and that's about 240,000 people in a year. And so that is a tremendous peer support that we're being able to provide in our communities and help so many individuals.
Absolutely. It's also really important to note that, man, we need more Black men and women like really in the profession of therapy, like for people to go, because I can't imagine not talking to someone and having them not have a clue my background, where I come from, what I face daily. Like that's, who wants to talk to someone that doesn't know that? Like that's right there, that already puts up a wall, you know? So, all right, joining us now is one of the hundreds of barbers who are taking part in the project along with one of his clients. Meet Divine and Elliot. What's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing so well. Well, I'll start with you, Divine. So how did you get involved in the project?
Well, a client friend of mine wanted to use my barbershop that was on the campus of the University of Louisville for an opportunity to present this Confess project. And what was really intriguing about the whole thing was I'm a barber, but I also suffer from depression and anxiety. And it was really interesting because I would get both spectrums. You know what I'm saying? I would be able to help individuals, and I would also be able to help myself by helping individuals and also confiding in Lorenzo and Darnell.
Divine, what have you learned being a part of this? Like, because it was kind of a random thing that came on your door, right to your door. So what have you learned from it?
Well, the fact that it was active listening, for real, what I've learned. Not only that, it's the opportunity to break the narrative or change the narrative of the way Black men have seen themselves when we discuss mental health issues. We can be transparent and share our insides with others of how we feel or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting too because all the things you just listed actually make you a stronger individual, and somehow, like society speaking, we always see it as weaker in a lot of circles.
Right.
And it's such a crazy misconception. Active listening is so important, and I will be the first one to say it is hard for me.
So hard, right?
Because I am such an interjector and a conversationalist, and I love to like have things in common and whatever. And active listening, actually, this show's helped me out a lot with that, about really just active listening to people.
It's so important. Active listening is one of the biggest things in relationships because you're like, when someone's talking to you, put your phone down. Like, listen, open your ears up, let them know that you've heard things. Because I think like lots of times you're just like, or you're like, your mind is somewhere else. Like, be present. Like, that's a good time for you to be present because that's important.
Well, as Divine's client, Elliot's reaped the benefits of the Confess Project. So, Elliot, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you. And also, you first learned about the Confess Project from Divine. So, what spoke to you about it?
So the first time I heard about the project, it was from Divine. And the same day, his friend at the Urban League was also my boss at the time. I worked at a program through the Urban League, so I heard it from both sources. And they're both people I respect. So just the influence of both of them, I decided to show up. And when I found out the topic was going to be Black men and mental health, what connected with me, just being a Black man and knowing what it's like not to have that space to be able to express how you feel. We live in a patriarchal society dominated by men, but one of the downsides of that for men is that there's not as much space to be weak because the male experience is dominated by power, what you're able to attain, how you're able to take control of something. A lot of that dominates how men are seen in society. So for me, it was just interesting to be able to see men be vulnerable, open up about what they lack, open up about where they struggle and just give each other tools and support each other. A lot of people want to open up but just don't feel like they have the space. And it just really shaped the way. So I work with young children, and it shaped the way that I look at that. I work with 9 and 10-year-old boys in the West End of Louisville, is where I'm from. So a lot of the students that I work with are from the area as well, and it's a low income neighborhood. A lot of them have different traumas that they have in their families, and just even if it's not directly in the home, the things that they see in their environment, it's traumatic, and a lot of that doesn't go unpacked, but there are labels put on these kids. So really, it's about unpacking these labels in these young men. And it really changed the way that I look at them, rather than view somebody as bad because of what they do, rather than view somebody as a bad child or saying that they're misbehaving. Let's get to the root of it. Let's talk about it.
And I love earlier. I know, so well said. I know.
Congratulations, man.
And in a
Well
suit
done.
and tie. Go ahead, Justin Timberlake. And I love. You said a minute ago when you were talking, you're like, they're afraid to be weak. I don't think it's weak. I think, saying, man, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, all those things are just being honest. And every human on the planet, whether you're male or female or whatever, you go through that. Lorenzo and Divine, how does it feel to be making such a positive impact on young Black men?
It allows me to realize that we are so much better than where we've come from. We still have a lot of work to do, but because, we're building a movement for, I like to say ordinary people, everyday people, barbers, stylists, the gatekeepers of our community to really invoke change. I think that's really powerful. And it's just going to continue to ripple and help so many individuals that may not have gotten that support.
Absolutely.
Well done, man.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, gentlemen. It has been so lovely to have you on this show. And so I just really appreciate y'all taking the time today, all right?
I appreciate you.
Yeah, all right.